Hi everyone, welcome back to Book Talk Wednesdays. So today I'm going to share with you some award-winning books. So you might have heard about some award winners already in other book talks that we've done in this Book Talk Wednesdays. But today I'm going to highlight a couple of award winners that won really awesome awards for diversity. So our first book, New Kid by Jerry Craft, won the Coretta Scott King Award, which is an award for African American creators who demonstrate an appreciation of African American culture and universal human values. Now, this book also won the Newbery Award, which is the big one, the big award for children's literature. And a cool thing about it is that it's a graphic novel. And so it's one of the first graphic novels to win so many awards and the first graphic novel to actually ever win the Newbery. So that's pretty cool. So New Kid by Jerry Craft is about Jordan Banks. And all Jordan Banks has ever wanted is to go to art school. He loves drawing and art. But his parents have other plans. They've decided to send him to a private school where Jordan is one of very few non-white kids. So now Jordan must navigate through starting a new school, making new friends, and all the well-intentioned or not racism. He'll also have to juggle his old friends from the neighborhood with his new friends from school, and learn how to have both a rich white friend and a poor black friend. So all kinds of interesting things he has to go through now that he is attending this private school. So the graphic novel kind of toggles between full color illustrations and fleshed out pages, and then pages from Jordan's sketchbook, which is kind of like his diary. He's explaining his experience in his sketchbook. And one of my favorite things about this book is the chapter titles. So I'm just going to show you a few of these awesome chapter titles because they're super punny. So we have The Hungry Games, Stop Mocking Jay. Upper West Side Story. You can kind of see what I talked about, how Jordan is struggling to have both his friends from school, which are kind of the more rich white friends, and his friends from his neighborhood, which may have a little more, be lower income and people of color. Jordan Banks, the non-Winter Soldier. Straight out of South Uptown. And this one's my personal favorite. I think you'll like it too. The Farce Awakens. So that is New Kid by Jerry Craft, winner of the Coretta Scott King Award and the Newbery Award. So I think as I go through, you might notice something about most of these books that I think is pretty cool about this year's award winners. So moving on, our next book is Sal and Gabi Break the Universe. So this one by Carlos Hernandez won the Pura Belpre Award. The Pura Belpre Award is for a Latinx, Latino creator who portrays, affirms, and celebrates the Latinx culture and cultural experience. So this particular book is about Cuban Americans. So it's the first week at a new school for Salvador, and he has been in the principal's office every day. Of course, none of these visits are really his fault, except maybe this most recent one. He did rip a hole in the universe so he could put a raw chicken in Yasmani's locker. But to be fair, Yasmani started it by being a bully. So now Gabi Real wants to know how Sal, who is a magician and also has this strange ability to rip holes in the universe, pulled off this so-called magic trick of putting a raw chicken in Yasmani's locker without ever opening it and then making the chicken disappear. And Gabi, she is not the type of person to just let things that she doesn't understand go. What Sal doesn't expect is how much he actually ends up liking Gabi. And despite his efforts to avoid her, the two end up becoming fast friends. Even more surprising, though, is that Gabi can see the hole in the universe that Sal made. No one's ever been able to see the hole before. So together, Sal and Gabi are going to determine how to close that hole and get rid of the calamitrons, because as Sal's calamity physicist father says, one calamitron is too many. One calamitron could destroy the universe, and the hole that Sal made brought 37 calamitrons. So Sal and Gabi are going to try and figure out how to get rid of the calamitrons, how to close that hole, and they're going to be friends doing it. So magic and parallel universes aren't the only thing this book is about, though. It's also the story of a boy who's struggling to accept that his mami muerta, his mom who died, is gone and he can't get her back. He can maybe get some different universe versions of her, but they're never really his actual mom. It's the story of a girl whose baby brother is dying and her family is very interesting. She has one mom and many, many dads, and some of these dads are women and some of these dads are men. And all of them are struggling to keep hope that her baby brother will survive while spending all their free time in the hospital. It's a story of a boy, Yasmani, who has a rough home life and just can't control his anger, but is an amazing dancer. And it's the story of Cuban-American Miami, with no shortage of Cuban food, even if our diabetic main character can't always eat it. So that's Sal and Gabi Break the Universe by Carlos Hernandez, winner of the Pura Belpré Award. All right, then we have Stargazing by Jen Wang. So this book won the Asian Pacific American Award for literature. So that award is given for books that promote Asian Pacific American culture and heritage. So Stargazing is about Christine and how when Moon moves into Christine's family's second unit, so they have a house and then they have another smaller like apartment on their property that they let Moon and her mom live in. So when Moon moves there, Christine doesn't seem to think that Moon is the type of Chinese girl that she could get along with. Moon is Buddhist. She doesn't speak Chinese. She isn't pressured by her mom to be perfect. But Moon and Christine quickly form a bond and find that despite their differences, they actually make pretty great best friends. They watch K-pop music videos, paint their nails, secretly because Christine is not allowed to paint her nails, and plan their dance routine for the school talent show. But the closer they get, the more Christine starts to notice that something about Moon isn't quite right. She gets angry and violent so easily, and she seems to think that celestial beings talk to her and tell her she belongs with them in the stars. So Moon sees these celestial beings, and she draws them, and she says they're her friends because they talk to her and tell her she belongs with them. So when tragedy strikes, Christine needs to figure out how to be the type of friend that Moon really needs. That is Stargazing by Jen Wang, winner of the Asian Pacific American Award for Literature. And then finally we have White Bird, A Wonder Story by R.J. Palacio. This book won the Sidney Taylor Book Award, which is given for books that authentically portray the Jewish experience. So this is a great book for all you Wonder fans out there. So this is a Wonder story. It is the story of Julian's, who was Augie's bully in Wonder. It's about his grandmère in Nazi-occupied France, her childhood there. So Sarah's life is like a fairy tale. She lives in a lovely house, wears pretty clothes, goes to a wonderful school, and has doting parents that shower her with love. She's frankly a little bit spoiled. But Sarah and her parents are Jewish. So when France surrenders to Germany during World War II, things begin to change for Sarah. It happens really slowly. First, Sarah starts to see the Nazi flags go up. Then she can't go into some of the shops with her friends, but that's okay, she just waits outside. Then some of the kids at school start to treat her differently, like she's less than for being a Jew. And then one day it happens. The soldiers come. Sarah and another Jewish friend, Ruth, are pulled from their class and join all the other Jewish students of her school, where they will be led by a Maquisard, who is a member of the resistance, into the woods to hide, so they can hide from the soldiers. Sarah and another Jewish friend, Ruth, are for some reason that Sarah cannot explain, she chooses to stay behind and hide in the school's bell tower. And this may well have saved her life. The soldiers easily find the group of students in the woods, and they are all sent away to concentration camps. Now Sarah, remember, she hid, she didn't go. So she's found in the bell tower by Torto, whose real name is Julian. Torto is a mean nickname the kids gave him because he had polio when he was a young boy, and that left him with twisted legs that require him to walk with crutches. So Julian, he leads Sarah through the sewers to his small town where he and his family keep her safe and hidden in an abandoned barn. She stays there for over a year, waiting for the war to end and hiding from the Nazis. So as the war rages on, Sarah and Julian's friendship grows. But will they be able to survive the evil that the Nazis have brought with them to France? So that is White Bird by R.J. Palacio, winner of the Sidney Taylor Book Award. So I don't know if you noticed, I'm going to show you what this book looks on the inside. So 3 out of these 4 books that I told you about were graphic novels. So Whitebird, Stargazing, and New Kid are all graphic novels. So many graphic novels won awards this year, and I think that's really cool. So I hope you'll check out some of those award winners. See you next time.